literally this whole episode is about fumbling the ball. Hey y'all, hey, this is Simone Shanae from Around the Way, bringing you your one-stop shop for reviews, reveals, and reenactments. Today we'll be talking about episode 3, Around the World, and we're just going to just dive right on in. So this episode this week is entitled What a Co-inky-dick. And we literally, the first scene of the episode, we see the fellas. And when I say the fellas, you see Anderson, as we found out in previous episodes, is Ella's ex-boo. We have Dr. O, Whitney's fiance. And actually, it is revealed in this episode that it'll be soon divorcee of Renee, Jason. So we see kind of like the fellas come together at this sports bar. Anderson shows up. It's like, oh, what up? Saying hi to Dr. O and Jason. And, reminisce like, oh, we ain't seen you in forever. You back in town. Whoop de whoop. So, immediately they start catching up. And that's when Jason reveals like, oh, him and Renee are getting a divorce. And, Anderson acknowledges that and everything like that. And so as soon as their interaction starts to begin and he's trying to share his feelings and all that stuff, we see in the background there is Community Dick Chris. Community Dick Chris is up in the sports bar. And so they all three have a guy moment where this girl walked by in this little tight fit and her little booty is going to town. I wouldn't call it quite big booty Judy, but it's more like nice booty Nisha or something like that. But like they was all just up and stuck about her booty, and they did a whole cheers, including Community Chris, in this cheers about this girl's booty. So clearly you can already tell that this is a foreshadowing to something else. The fact that now Dr. O and Community Dick Chris had this interaction. And if you haven't watched the previous reviews or the show, you'll know that Whitney is a fiance to Dr. O. And Whitney in a previous episode has actually had sex with Community Dick Chris. So that's why this is like a whole, ooh, what's about to happen? Because now Dr. O and Community Dick Chris have now crossed paths. So after they have that little interaction, they kind of start diving more deeply into relationships and just talking about different things like the little bit of the past between Anderson and Ella, but they didn't dive deep. But he's like, oh, you should come to her birthday party, which is going to be a karaoke party. Dr. O says this and basically inviting him to just, try to get your woman back, try to make her understand and basically shoot your shot. So Dr. O has invited Anderson, who of course all the ladies consider Satan, to Ella's birthday party, her 32nd birthday party. And so to win her love back. And Jason's just like, shoot, I ain't going. I've been excommunicated anyways. And he makes a point to say that they are the cream of the crop. Very reminiscent of the speech Brian and the brothers. If y'all remember the brothers with Morris Chestnut, Shamar Moore, Bill Bellamy, and who was the other person? That's gonna mess me up. But they had this whole, Bill Bellamy's character does this whole speech about them being the cream of the crop and everything like that. This is kind of very reminiscent of that. Basically, out of nowhere, Jason's like, oh, whatever, I ain't never going back. We are black men with advanced degrees, no roommates, no kids, and we are the prize in the black man sweepstakes. And I'll give it to him. You're right. The fact that y'all are in y'all 30s and have no kids, no roommates, and advanced degrees, that you're right, that does make you a prize. But in this essence, you fumbled your prize. So with some bullish. So we're just gonna move past that. So then we kind of switch cam and we see Ella experiencing, just walking down the streets of Harlem in all her birthdayness. And Renee calls up and, sings her a good happy birthday, which we all do for our friends, especially me. I literally do whole reenactments of songs, beats, and everything for my friends on their birthdays. I remember for my sister's birthday, I did a whole rendition of Hello by Adele for her birthday. So just know I'm the type of friend that will sing you happy birthday real good. So when Renee called in, I felt I had all those feels with that, just to tell her happy birthday, Ella, and all that jazz. And then kind of Ella kind of go on a little bit of a tangent, just kind of talking about 32 is an ugly number, and she just hates the fact that she feels like she peaked at 29. So that also dives a little bit deeper into what's been going on with her, feeling like she peaked at 29 with her career, and then was a failed author, and now she's back doing the same thing. So she feels like she just stuck in a loop of being single, in transition, and drunk. And so Renee's just like, okay, girl, well, glad nobody's writing a story about you. And then they kind of hang up as she continues her walk through the city. And then we kind of dive and see Renee in her work element. So then we see Renee like, okay, she's a boss. She out here doing her thing with marketing. That looks like what she's kind of into, because it's like she's helping with a commercial. And she kind of sits with her coworker Abby, and they start kind of discussing different things. And one of the things they start discussing is that Renee is actually interested in a promotion. It would be VP of brand strategy role. And like she kind of shares this information with Abby, and Abby's like all supportive of her, like, yeah, you're my day one. I definitely will pitch the idea of you getting that job, which makes me almost wonder, like, how's this gonna go down? Because y'all being very strategic and dropping little nuggets, and I'm like, okay, I feel like that's going to play into something later. But anyway, they also further kind of discuss. Now we hear Renee's side of it, like saying, yes, confirming her and Jason are getting a divorce. And so Abby shows concerns with that. Like, they're asking, how do you think you're going to be able to handle all that and a new position? And Miss Renee decides to go ahead. Oh, my bad. Miss Renee decide. Y'all get that if y'all watch previous review. Kind of goes on a little tangent, just talking about, you know what, I am good. I'm going to go about my business. And plus, I still look good in lingerie, so I am at peace. So she's like, I'm good to go and ready to mingle, I guess you could say, or just move on with her life. So then we kind of switch cam to Dr. O and Whitney. And I'm telling y'all right now, this episode is going to kind of get you more pissed off at Whitney. But sticking on the track, you see Dr. O and Whitney, and they're like a super cute couple. Like, they're kind of like playful with each other. She rubbing lotion in on them. You could tell it's a seasoned relationship. And so we kind of see them. He comes to her talking about, like, hey, why don't we complete our registry? And so they all boot up and whatever, talking about registry items. And then, they kind of lead to something else, because, they just cute. And they go ahead and probably, it implies they're going to get it in. So it just, you can tell they're super cute. And like throughout this episode, you just keep seeing nuggets of cuteness with Whitney and Dr. O. And I'm like, Whitney, girl, like, why are you blowing this? Why are you blowing this for us? Like, it's almost like we need you to succeed for us all in this world of 30-somethings and single. It's like you have this amazing man and you are fumbling the ball. Literally, this whole episode is about fumbling the ball. That's all I can say about that. But anywho, moving forward, switch cam to Ella. She runs into Asian Bay, and I forgot about what his name was in the first review, but I now know his name is Brian. So Asian Bay is Brian, and Ella runs into Asian Bay. It looks like they're covering the same event. I guess it's a movie that came out. And they kind of discuss what happened. It seemed like there's no hard feelings. They can still be normal as far as after the whole almost sex interaction happened, but it was a failed attempt because homie had whiskey dick. So it's like, oh, okay, we find out he been trying to get at Ella for like 8 years. So it was just like another fumble the ball. I told you this whole episode is about fumbling the ball. Anywho. And so then we kind of switch cam quickly back from them. And all of a sudden you see Sandy and Matthew. So they make sure to touch on every little relationship. We're trying to dive deep into everybody slowly but surely. So then we switch cam to Sandy and Matthew. And they kind of meet and talk about different thesis stuff. Because mind you, Matthew is Sandy's thesis advisor or doctoral advisor. So they'll kind of talk about first her plans and stuff, or I guess her thesis about interviewing different people, and then they kind of switch cam to well, not switch cam. They kind of they changed the conversation to their relationship, because Matthew, he wants to make their relationship. He wants to go ahead and go to the board or go to the college and let them know they're in this consensual relationship, because it can pop off and people find out they're in a relationship and they don't tell nobody. Like, and I understand Sandy's point of view, where she's like, look, I know if it comes out, people are going to think I'm only here and my success is only because of you. And he tried to say, well, everybody knows you're successful because she's some type of scholar. I'm assuming some type of scholarship she got. But, like, she's like, no, I don't want you to overshadow me and my progress and my goals and my accomplishments if we let this out. So they're in a tit for tat about to let their relationship public or not. But yeah, she still invites him to Ella's birthday party because she still wants to have some type of boyfriend girlfriend outing. So switch cam back. It's kind of weird actually the layout of this episode, because I feel like they could have just did the whole rundown of the interaction between Asian Bae and Ella, but whatever. So then we immediately switch cam back from Sandy and Matthew back to Ella at work, about to have her turn to do the interview because she had to wait because Hot Tea Digest is an online format and they let the TV and print go before her. They made a point to say that. And so it's about to be her turn to talk about this movie. And I guess this movie is about, a black couple a black woman who decides to do fertility. I don't know if she's infertile or whatever. She decides to do fertility treatments and she ends up falling in love with her sperm donor, I guess. I don't know. It's a fake movie within the show, one of them things. So she's interviewing the actress that's in it because Ella's kind of perturbed about the fact that we keep doing this whole, stereotype of black women not being desirable, not being able to being single, can't have a relationship and be successful type ordeal. So those are the type of questions she's asking the actress or the director of this show or this movie that they're interviewing about. And the person pretty much responds, when are we going to take a deeper dive or take a step back and look at the state of black women and what that means? And so then we switch cam from that because that makes Ella start thinking, because, she's having revelations of thinking because it's her birthday and she just turned 32. And so then it's back to Ella and the crew. It looks like they kicking it, trying to relax. It's her birthday, so it looks like they're at some type of spa situation. And they kind of talk about, Ella kind of dives right in and talking about, do you think black women are in a state? And that's an interesting concept, because there's been several articles and everything saying about how black women are the most educated group. And so therefore it's almost like black women are seen as pursuing more their career and their education versus pursuing becoming a mother or a wife or be a part of a family or creating a family. And so it's this weird dynamic of black women being successful is preventing us from becoming, a mother and a wife. And so that's why, that's the state of black women they're referring to, if they believe that state is true. So that's why she starts asking questions like, have you guys ever thought about freezing your eggs? Because that's what the movie was about. And they're like, Sandy was like, I plan on having babies the old-fashioned way with sex. She's like, and I ain't worried about it because my family done had babies late and we've been good. Whitney feels the same way. She don't want to have kids till late, but that's really coming off during their little interaction earlier in the episode with her and Dr. O. Dr. O ready to bust out 4 babies, but Dr. O is ready to get homegirl pregnant and start their life together. And I get it, because it seems like they must have been together. Dr. O and Whitney must be together for almost 10 plus years because they've been together since college. So it's got to be in that realm. So anywho, she's like, she's on board. She trying to wait till 40. She cool with that. And then Renee's like, I'm not trying to have no kids, so miss me with that. And then a little bit during their conversation about that, it kind of gets slided in because, the second episode ended with Whitney saying she's not sure if she should get married. And they kind of refer back to that, just saying, oh, Whitney, we told you that cold feet is normal and Ola is yo boo. And he thinks the sun rises in your ass. So therefore, you need to just calm down and realize that is your number one stunner and be happy. Because one, he's successful, he's smart, he fine, and he love you, girl. Anywho. So then we switch cam. we at the karaoke party. Because that's what they wanted to do for Ella's birthday, because she loved karaoke. And so we see a homegirl, like I said, Maxine Shaw, Ella's boss, there first. She's the first one there at the party. She's like, shoot, I can't worry about everybody. I'm about to get up and sing. And then Ella freaking out. She's like, where are my people? Like, I'm just here with my boss. But whatever. If you with Maxine, you should be all right. Anywho, so then people start to arrive to the party. And then, okay, everybody getting their groove on. Here comes Whitney and Dr. O showing up in full costume because they plan on doing Nelly and Kelly Dilemma for their song of choice. And honestly, this is hilarious to me because no shade to Nelly and Kelly and Dilemma, but that song wore me out. Like, they played that song so hardcore on the radio that I swear every time I hear it now, I literally have to turn the station. And it's so funny because right before I recorded this, literally I had just drove home and they tried to play Nelly and Kelly Dilemma. And I said, I can't do this. So, what a Co-inky-dick there. Co-inky-dick, Co-inky-dick. Anywho, back on track. So, anywho, they come full-blown coupled out just in their costume to perform Nelly and Kelly. So, they go up right next after Maxine to perform. They look the cutest doing this. And after them, Matthew performs, because Sonny Matthews show up, so he performs his jam, and they just having a good time doing karaoke. During this time, while Matthew's performing his song after the epic Nelly and Kelly duet by Dr. O and Whitney, all of a sudden we see Community Dick Chris walk up in the room. So we like where he coming from. We see Renee do a little hey to him, and Whitney is freaking out. She's like, why is he here? And Renee's like, wait a minute. First of all, I invited him because I'm newly single. I'm getting a divorce, and he's previous peen I done had before. So I'm not trying to get my numbers up. I might as well double back. And so she invited him because she knows he gonna do what he needs him for. So Whitney's freaking out like, oh my God. And then before they even could say anything to Community Dick Chris, here comes Dr. O going up saying, oh, I remember you. Basically saying, I saw you at the sports bar. He's like, oh yeah, for real. Yeah, I remember you. Bro up. Like, just dudes do. Hey, we friends now. Like, I don't know why y'all do that mess, but whatever. So here we go. We kind of go into this whole dilemma. Sorry. Anywho, they go into this like whole dilemma with that. So Whitney literally pulls Ella out of the room and basically spills the beans to her right there and there. And she's like, I had sex with Community Chris, and you have him here, and I don't know what to do. And I was like, what you want me to do about it now? Like, it's my birthday. She's like, you're right. I shouldn't have just told you right now. We can just basically talk about it later, I guess. I don't know. So she spills beans to Ella. That's all who knows right now. So Whitney has told Ella she has cheated on her fiance, Dr. Fine O, and now she is in a crisis because Community Dick Chris is up in the room. So after that, while at the party, Community Dick Chris approaches Whitney pretty much, and Whitney pretty much kind of dismisses him. First, she tries to pretend like she don't remember who he is, like, oh hey, and she's like, what? And he's like, Chris. He's like, now I know you remember me, and she just says, honestly, you need to just forget about me because it never should have happened. And she kind of turns around, and literally at this very moment after she says that and she turns around, all of a sudden here comes magnificent Dr. O, basically about the saying, Outcast prototype, you are the prototype type. My jam, and to dedicate to Whitney because he just loves her so much. And I'm like, Whitney, and she's just over here getting all watery, misty-eyed because she knows she did wrong. She did wrong. Because this man literally, like, worships the ground you walk on, and you just looking real trash right now, Whitney, like, real trash. And I get it, but I don't get it. Like, I get it. You in this long relationship, 10 to 15 years, and you never been able to soil your wild oats. And so you just feel like you need this time. I don't know if that's a mix with cold feet or what, but you about to miss out on a good one if you don't get your act together, because clearly it's making it seem like this is going to come out sooner or later. So anywho, after this magnificent production by Dr. O, prototype to Whitney, his fiance, as later on in the episode, we have Sandy and Matthew leaving, and at the same time, Anderson is arriving. And while Anderson is arriving, Ella is doing this drunk rendition of "You Ought to Know," and basically talking directly to him. Everybody's like, "Oh Lord, Satan has arrived," and then Dr. O daps him up, and so when he's like, "You invited him," and so then hear this whole dramatic, "Oh, whatever." This song she's singing to him, basically upset, like, "Did you remember me?" Woot woot. So quickly we switch cam to all of a sudden Ella and Anderson are leaving the area because she yells out that she is hungry or she's starving after all that. And he takes her to get something to eat, which looks like must be something that's considered their old spot because it's a little secret hideaway. And they knock, and it's this cute little restaurant, and he already has things set up for her, like this bomb mac and cheese in a skillet, and she starts tearing up. And they kind of now expose what happened between Anderson and Ella. So they kind of talk about saying, "You went off to South Africa. It was supposed to be a summer." He went off to South Africa for what should have been a summer internship, which turned into a 2-year stay. They asked him to stay. He really loved what he was doing, so he decided to continue with it. But she's upset because he literally waited 10 days before he had to leave to tell her that he's going to South Africa. And he's trying to say he delayed it because it was the same time her book was failed. Her publisher dropped her book, so it was just a lot going on in her life, and he didn't want to make it worse. And so that's kind of what happened with it. So he said, "I kept calling you," and she said, "Why did you leave for 2 years?" And then he says the part about, they wanted me to stay. I loved what I was doing. And then you stopped returning my calls, or returning and accepting his calls. So I guess Ella must have been in her feelings. This man still was calling her and texting and trying to get in contact with her. She stopped accepting his calls. So he was like, "Well, what am I coming home to?" And here she's like, "You're coming home for me." Well, Ella, I mean, what is the man to think? You stopped taking his calls. Yeah, you're right. It was jacked up, really jacked up for him to not tell you before 10 days before he was leaving, tell you that he's going, "Hey boo, I'm going to South Africa." I get it, it's jacked up, but also you stopped taking his calls. So if y'all decided before he left that you was gonna be taking this man's calls, and you stopped taking his calls because then it turned in from a summer to 2 year stay. I mean, you could have just broke up with him and just said, "We get back together when you get back." But clearly you kept it vague. You decided to be immature about it, and now return as many calls and have this conversation. And so therefore now you're in this icky situation. So if that's all that happened, I feel like there's an opportunity for Anderson and Ella to get back together. But anywho, then it kind of comes out. She's like, "Well, he said, why do you think I'm back here now?" Basically saying, "I want to win Ella back." And it kind of ends. He brings out the little person that owns the shop, brings out a little cupcake, and he's like, Anderson, tell Ella, make a wish, babe. And she kind of just looks at the cupcake and blow out the candle, and that's the end of episode 3. So, I mean, episode 3 was kind of straight to the point. It kind of explored the characters more. You find out little bits and things about what's going on in their lives, and it's moving the storyline further. The preview, it kind of shows Ella and Anderson walking with each other. Clearly they haven't reconciled yet because people say, "Oh, y'all look cute," or whatever, and she's like, "But we ain't together." And then you see like a snap of Whitney interacting with Dr. O's aunts and stuff, finally getting to know his side of the family that she messed up with that dinner that she missed. And then also you see Ella and Whitney get into it, and Ella's asking her, "What is wrong with you?" So clearly the next episode seems to be diving deeper into what is going on with Whitney. So anywho, if you like this content, like, share, subscribe, and I'll be looking forward to talking to you about episode 4. See y'all.